Life on the allotment isn't necessarily always about vegetables. It's about time we had a look at some flowers. These here are Gladioulus corms, and the orange ones are a variety called Princess Margaret Rose, a particular favourite of mine. Most weekends I take part in a Zoom forum hosted by Mick Pulteney, and on there he has a various number of guests, different aspects of gardening, and there's one guy on there by the name of Nigel, and he's what I refer to as an expert in Gladiolus. I don't use the word expert very much because sometimes I think it's overused, but in this case Nigel is an expert. He's not only a judge, but he's well thought of in the British Gladiolus Society as well. And he quite often gives hints and tips about growing and showing glads. And one thing he always emphasises is the drainage. You must have good drainage. So I've got some compost here. It's some old peat-free compost that I've used, and I've had a bit of fish blood and bone, but what I'm adding now, this is horticultural grit. Add all that in, give it a good mix, and we'll use that for some of the potting medium. I'm going to be using these terracotta pots, clay pots, and because I've got no crocks to go in the bottom to cover the drainage hole, I'm just going to be using a bit of kitchen tissue. That'll eventually rot, but as an interim it'll stop the soil falling through while it binds. As you can see, that's quite a gritty compost. Just get a nice level layer on the top, then we can place the corms on top of that. I'm actually putting 3 in here. Normally 1 would be enough, but I'm actually short of space. I was going to put these in the garden, but too late for me. Anyway, these need to be covered with 4 to 5 inches of well-drained soil. I'll just leave them in the garden, give them a watering and leave them to their own thing. There we have 9 pots of Gladiolus Princess Margaret Rose. You notice, give it a top dressing of horticultural grit. I think anything in a terracotta pot, be it a bulb, rhizome, corm or tuber, this actually sets it off. I've still got a few more pots left, so I'll pick some of these to put up. These are mixed colours. And these are the rejects out of the Princess Margaret Rose. As you can see, they started to get a bit squidgy in the middle, so only thing to do with them, dump them. I've just popped the glads into the coal frame there for a few days, let them bed in. I'll give them a good watering. Still got some lettuce in there to plant out, find some space in the beds, and my final 2 gutters of Verse green chaff peas. Another damp and dismal start to the day, but not to worry, that's not going to stop us. We can start off with doing a bit of pricking out here. We've got some pak choy and also lolo mixed lettuce.
That's a female one, and then that's a male one there.
An ideal time to catch up on other YouTube videos. This is Alan from the Dawn Chorus. Teaming down the rain, potting on. What could be better?
Better chance of getting male.
Well, tomorrow's the 1st of June, and can you believe it? We've just had a tremendous hailstorm. I'll just spin you around. If you look, you can see how it has sunk the nets quite a lot. And it's the same on the alliums over here as well. Amazing how that come out of nowhere, but it's been dark all day, dreary. But hopefully that's the end of it. It's actually warmed up. It has been cold today. I never thought I'd be shifting snow at the beginning of June. I think I'm going to have to end up inside and shove it out from there. It's tough net, this black butterfly netting from Easy Nets. A good advert. Done. Hello folks and welcome back. You might notice a little jump between the last clip and this, time-wise, and that's because I've been away from the plot for almost 2 weeks now. In fact, I've been down Cornwall and Devon, had a great time. More of that a bit later on. But as you know, this time of the year is a very, very busy time for us gardeners, especially with allotments. And I am very, very fortunate on our site. We have a good bunch of people in there who are only too willing to look after your plot while you're away. And this is something we share amongst each other. So there's 1 or 2 people in particular, Alan and Andy up there. Each time they visit, they just pop their head down, have a look in the greenhouse or anything drying out, just give it a little water, and things tick over just nicely. So I've come back to a good plot, except for one thing, not their doing, but I'll show you that a bit later on. As you can imagine, almost 2 weeks away from the plot, and the major job at the moment is weeding. They've really come back, but probably a day I'll sort that out, and then I can get back onto sorting the veg out, because there's still a few more things that I want to be sowing. I'm very pleased the way the auto watering systems work, and no more so than this wicking system that I've put in here for the peppers and chilies. Although the sump has still got watering with a bit of feed, I still add the main feed through the top, and this is what I'm using now. It's a full strength liquid seaweed, and I do this about once every 2 weeks, and the plants seem to love it, as you can see. Plenty of buds on. One bonus that I have come back to is that the strawberries are in full swing. As you can see, there's plenty of red fruits there ready for picking, untouched by the blackbirds. So I'm going to get those out. This variety is called Cambridge Favourite. Well, that's my first pickings for this year. Must say I'm very happy with that. Still quite a lot more left there. Probably need 2 or 3 more days. Hopefully the blackbirds will keep away, because there's still some running along the outside and them are fruiting really good. Anyway, we'll see what happens. In the meantime, I'm going to try these with a bit of cream. Being away from the plot for a couple of weeks, things do begin to build up. Not only the weeds and that, but I've got quite a big backlog of YouTube videos of regulars that I usually watch. So apologies if you're in that group, and I will try and catch up with them. The ones that I have seen, I saw them harvesting these garlic starting to come out now, and also some shallots. And when that happens, it gives me a little reminder then to think about sowing some brassicas to see me through the winter period. And I've got 3 types of cabbages, one called Ormskirk, one called Tundra, and the favourite January King fruit. You may remember early part of this year I had a fairly good harvest of cauliflower as well, which I overwintered, and they was called Triumphant, so I'll be sowing some more of those. Now for this type of seed, I tend to use these cell trays. These are actually commercial plug plant cells, and what I do, I chop these up into little sections of 12, 4x3. Ideal bite size, use them for sowing radishes, spring onions, lettuce and that sort of thing. But come the winter, these are also ideal for doing some brassicas. With 12 in the cells, I tend to do 6 of each variety. I'll probably only use 2, maybe 3 of them, then I'll donate whoever wants them out onto the plot. So I'm going to get these sown. The fellow plot holders kindly offered me some purple sprouting broccoli. Now these are amazing plants, especially for the filling the hungry gap. The only issue I got with these purple sprouting, if you plant them out into the borders, they usually end up occupying space that I want to be using come the beginning of the season. So what I've done in the past is grown these in 30 litre tubs, and they've done fairly well. So these are the plants at the moment. I'm not going to plant them obviously into 30 litre a year. I'll put these into pots, pot them up, and then gradually let them build themselves up until I'm ready to go into the pots. There they are, potted up. Put these into 4-inch pots. I'm going to pop these in the cold frame just to let them tick over in there until I'm ready to go out. Before I go, I did mention that I've been away on holiday in Cornwall, and I like to keep this channel purely as gardening, although there's plenty of other things I could fill it with. But one of the attractions that was very, very close to me was a thing called St Michael's Mount, and that's based in a place called Zion, which is just outside Penzance. And it's a property owned partially by the National Trust and the St Auburn family. And you can get across in low tide by a causeway which goes across. Failing that, there's always a ferry boat to get over there. And there's a lovely building that you can go around. But the thing I like the most there is a beautiful tiered garden on the southwest side and all. And I took a few photos. So to just close this one out, I'll play a few photos of the bit of music, and I'll see you next time. Many thanks for watching. Bye for now.